Hey there, everybody. This is MegaTrain. Welcome back to Project Ozone LIte. As you might be able to hear, I've got a little bit of a cold. Hopefully it's not too noticeable or too annoying. But I couldn't wait any longer. I had to show you what I've been working on here back on my main Project Ozone LIte island. I have totally reconfigured my drawer array. Everything is all still within the distance of my drawer controller. So it could all be inserted or extracted via that one block. But I've really taken some time and moved things around to where they're going to be more convenient for me and where they're going to hold more stuff. So the core of my drawer array is the same here. I've got all my main metals that come from sifting. I added the four that we get from sifting netherrack. And I've kind of reorganized some of the material on the left-hand side here. These are all my minerals, my mob drops, and I've included some things here that hadn't been put in here before. I put my my withering souls, my molten cores. I moved my compression, my compressor around here to basically pull straight from the blaze powder and convert those straight into blaze rods. I've still got the mechanism on the left-hand side here that allows me to pull my extra iron items into the chest. So that all works the same. The right-hand side, though, is all alloys. So a lot of these weren't in drawers at all. They were just in a chest. And I've even got some more room up at the top for additional alloys that we need in the future. I have thrown my nether stars in here as well, so I can actually pull out compressed nether star blocks should I ever need those. And sort of the stuff that I'm going to need access to quite a bit, I've just put on an end cap here. So my wood, my obsidian, glass, all the stone that I use on a regular basis. The back side of the center is a lot of constructed items. Some of the stuff that comes out of loot bags that I don't care much about is across the bottom here. And there's plenty of room for additional materials and ingredients as we need them. I did do two substantial changes here that you can see both of them in this section. One of them is that I've broken out my cobblestone into multiple sets of blocks. So this first cobblestone gives me, this first compressed drawer gives me cobblestone compressed and double compressed. And as we go up the chain, I've got double, triple, and quadruple, quintuple, and sextuple, all the way up to from sextuple to octuple compressed cobblestone. And I don't have any of that yet. That all works through a series of conduits in the backside. So basically, the main portion of this works like you probably expect. I've got an extract here that pulls out just the quadruple, and that inserts into the next channel. And this one pulls out just the sextuple, which goes up to the next level there. One thing I did do is I put an extra compacting drawer back here because on my solo player world I was constantly annoyed with never being able to grab cobblestone when I needed it because it would get compressed too quickly and advanced up to the higher levels. So basically these cobblestone generators feed directly into this drawer here, and along the front side I have an extra compacting drawer which has basically one stack of double compressed cobblestone. So the insert into this block is a higher priority. So if I pull some stuff out of here, this will get refilled by those cobblestone generators first. And if I want to get rid of the extra cobblestone I just pulled out, I could pop it back here. So maybe today we could actually make a couple of things with these compressed cobblestone. There's a couple of recipes that'll give us an achievement. The second piece that probably requires a little bit of explanation here is all of my essence drawers. So, in some ways they operate similar to how I've done the first of my cobblestone drawers here, in that I've got a storage downgrade. So this will only hold one stack of inferium blocks. And the idea is that any inferium come in will first fill up this this drawer, but when that's full, it'll fill up this secondary drawer here. But as soon as it goes into this drawer, it gets pulled out and into my my crafter. So I've got all the normal recipes inside here that change normal essence into Prudentum and then into Irminium. But the key here is that every single one of these will export these to the output. And so when it makes Prudentum, it'll try first to put that Prudentum into this drawer here. Again, this has got a storage downgrade, so it'll only hold a stack of blocks. And when that completely fills up, it'll go up here and again pull into here. So Zuma Void is the person that I first saw this style of mechanism here. I think he just used normal storage drawers and not compacting drawers. But this gives me the blocks in addition to the essence itself. And I've pre-crafted up some just so I have some at each level should I need them. So one thing I do not have in there yet is I don't have any of the master infusion crystals. So that's really going to help. I've got to constantly check this and make sure that I'm not running out of these. To the right-hand side, I've got some food and farm-related items. Along the back is mostly open. I'm going to be putting some essence from my mystical agriculture farm over here with ingredients that I could use. And the final component that I've got here is I've got my furnace array kind of connected to my drawers. So I've got a secondary drawer of carbon here that feeds my fuel sources, and I can just pop anything that I need smelted into the top chest. I do want to mention, if you ever endeavor to move your drawers around like I did, now some of these I just emptied and refilled in other places, but in other cases I actually picked up full drawers and moved them around. There is something to be cautious about, though. If you use a cardboard box to do that, it can be a little bit risky. Cardboard boxes are cheap and easy to make with sawdust, but they tend to fly all over the place. So I've got a couple of flowers in this drawer here. If I grab this, it can fly around. And I have, at times, had these things fly all over the place. I actually lost a couple of drawers full of some alloy that I needed. So I would definitely recommend looking into packing tape instead. Packing tape is really easy to make with any of the slime balls and paper. And basically you slap the tape on it and you can use whatever appropriate tool it is. In this case, I need my X, and pick it up, and it still looks like what it is instead of a mystery box. And you can pop it down pretty easily. So it doesn't tend to glitch out all over the place like cardboard boxes do. I've also cleaned up other areas of the island. So my Ender IO machinery I've reconfigured here. I've picked up all my my initial smelters, my initial furnaces that I don't use anymore. This capacitor bank is connected underneath the island to my main capacitor bank over there, so it can always be recharged. Really just made a minor change to my smeltery here. The conduit that pulls the material out, I've moved to underneath, and that gave me the room to add some additional basins to the left-hand side here. So basically, if I've got a whole bunch of stuff to cast, I can flip this one switch and cast 15 blocks at the same time. That also allowed me to pull my other tables and parts out front. Some of the things that I cleaned up, I don't need anymore, like the water reservoirs that filled into the stone barrels. All of those materials I could just make with my essence from my farms now. Same thing with the witch water buckets. I don't need that to make my soul sand anymore. These ground traps I do intend to set back up somewhere. I just haven't had the time to do that. One machine, though, I did recreate down here on the second story. And this is basically the only way for me to make end stone. I am not going to be able to make end essence unless I go to the end and pick up some purple blocks. And I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do that in the end or not. As you remember, at the beginning of the season, I said that I was not going to go to other dimensions except maybe to kill the dragon once. So we'll see how that plays out. But the recipe in a barrel here is just to put glowstone into a lava bucket. So I've got plenty of resources now, so I just made a whole bunch of casting of crucibles here and a whole bunch of lava fluid tanks. And I'm not even using conduits to move the lava back and forth. I'm just using the push and the pull mechanisms built into the fluid tanks here directly. What we're going to spend the rest of the episode on, though, is on getting started with Botania. There are a couple of approaches that we could take. We could either start from the quest lines that are here inside the quest book, which is a pretty good way to think about it. The other way to do that is to use the Lexico Botania book. It's kind of got a tutorial that you could walk through to introduce everything for you. You could also just go through on your own and read everything. The two things that we're going to do, though, and I don't know if we'll be able to get quite that far this episode, is number one, we're going to try to get growth crystals. We have the ability to make all these other blocks, but not sea lanterns. And for these, we need Guardian Essence. And without actually having a Guardian farm, we need to be able to pull these from somewhere. And we could pull these from using Botania by throwing quartz into a mana pool above an alchemy catalyst. So we'd like to get this far if we can. The other thing that I don't think that we'll be able to get quite that far is we'd like to make our Master Infusion Stone, and the Master Infusion Stone requires Terrasteel. Terrasteel is much more difficult to get. It's a little bit further down the achievement tree in Botania, but we'll see how far we can get. So the first thing that I've actually already done is I've made what's called a flower pouch. And this is pretty easy to make, just with any color wool and a petal from any of our mystical agriculture flowers. The cool thing about this is it's basically a specialized portable pouch for our mystical flower types. And if if you are gathering these or picking them or something like that, let me throw these on the ground just so you can see. When I pick these up, these do not go into my inventory. Oh, now it's making a liar of me. It should go directly into my flower pouch. All right, well, now it's not doing it. I think it's doing it just because I pulled them directly out. But this will store basically a stack of each of these types here. And I've also got a bunch of mystical flower essence. If you remember, this is going to be an alternate way for me to be able to make all these different types. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to craft up a whole bunch of this stuff to fill up my pouch with all of my different mystical flower types. I have more than a sufficient supply of flowers now. Let's pick up a few of these white ones. And we're going to dive into the achievements here. The Botanica Basics starts with a petal apothecary. And let me just look that up. So I need cobblestone and slabs and some petals. So I'll just make a few slabs, convert a couple of these to petals, and we should be able to make one of these. Maybe a couple more of those. We will lay this apothecary down. Let's put it over here on the side and fill it with water. So the idea is that you drop ingredients into one of these things, and it does its magic. Actually, let's do this. Let's lower it a level so I don't have to keep feeling like I have to do that. There we go. Need some water, and we'll drop some white petals into it. And it needs me to drop a seed into it to pull that out. Let me grab some seeds. I'm back with some seeds. And so to finish this, I need to toss that seed in. And it creates a pure daisy. So I'm going to need a couple of pure daisies here. So let me pull out just a few extra white petals. And let's make a second one while we're at it. One, two, three, four. There we go. All right, these pure daisies allow me to create some other materials. So I can put wood and stone around these pure daisies. After, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute, they will change into the last two ingredients that I need, the living rock and the living wood. All right, that took a little longer than I was expecting. But these ingredients are basically the starting point of everything else that I need. And that actually completes my first achievement here. This should be pretty easy for us to do, one of each of the different petal colors. All right, I'm finishing up my petal achievement here. All my different colors. There we go. Now we've got a convenient place to grab just the colors that we need. And we can claim that one. The next one down, we need to have a source of mana. So the first suggestion they give is to make an endo flame. And an endo flame is made with just different colors of mana in a petal apothecary. So I need 2 brown, 1 red, and 1 light gray. So a lot of the recipes in this pack are done this way, just through assembling the right colors of petals and things like that. There we go. To see what this Endo Flame can do, we really need to complete the next portion of the achievements here. And for that, we need a mana pool and a mana spreader. So we've got pretty much the ingredients we need for those. Let me grab an extra petal here. And a mana pool we make with our living rock. A mana spreader we make with our living wood and a petal. So the idea here is that we can basically pull down there. And I'm not sure if I place this from the front or the back. I think that's right. So what happens is that if I put coal onto my end of flame here, it's going to absorb that and produce mana. Let me try that again. Try just normal coal. Come on. All right, let me make sure that I'm doing this right here. I might need to use a wand. There's a twig. 2 twigs, 3 twigs, and a couple of petals to make a wand of the forest. So let's make sure that these things are connected together and try this again. Come on, you stupid thing. So I'm not sure if it was just the distance away, but now when I use my wand of the forest and point to the flame, it's got a little green check mark next to that to show that it's connected to the spreader. So it should actually be able to make use of that now. So back on my wand of the forest, it shows, well, it shows unknown status. But getting some mana in the mana pool. So the mana in the mana pool can be used for all sorts of things. All right, I really got a system going on here. I've got 4 End of Flames. And there is also a way, once you've started a pool, you can't throw this directly at a dry pool. But once you've got a pool started, you can throw Black Lotus and Blacker Lotus into a pool to fill it up quickly. And that is really going to allow me to demonstrate the next pieces here, which is that I can throw ender pearls in here to get mana pearls. Same thing with the diamonds. And that actually allows me to collect these next couple of achievements here. So I made the hydrangea. That can generate mana from absorbing water. So I made it, but I don't know that I'm going to use it. And this, I've got plenty of mana steel from loot bags. And I made the other 2 here. The next thing I need is the alchemy catalyst. So the alchemy catalyst is what's going to allow me to make some of the resources that I've been talking about here. So a catalyst. I need living rock, gold, mana pearl, and some brewing stands. All right, a couple of brewing stands. I've got my mana pearl. And that should and get me my alchemy catalyst. Claim that one. And let's make use of it here. Basically, you put it underneath your mana pool. And now you can throw all sorts of things in here, like nether quartz. And it will change into prismarine shards. And I can throw some of these in. And get prismarine crystals. And with those, I can make a lantern. And with the sea lantern, of course, I can make the growth crystal. So, not too many to open this time, but we'll give it a shot. Some lithium. Ring of experience. Woohoo! Bacon. There we go. RF gauge. Zombie charm. And cave spider charm. All right. Thanks for watching. Thank you for putting up with my voice. Apologize. Should be better next time. And we will see you in the next episode.